Hello, hello, everyone. This is Dionne Blanks with the Economic Empowerment Circle, and welcome to Fractional Share Investing and Organizing Your M1 Finance Portfolio. I am going to go ahead and read the disclaimer, which I do before every tutorial. This disclaimer reads as follows. This is not investment advice. This content is for informational and educational purposes only. There are risks associated with investing in securities. So that is the disclaimer. You can read it at your leisure, but I just wanted to put that out there for those of you who are not familiar with me. Again, my name is Dionne Blanks, and I am an investment education consultant with the Economic Empowerment Circle. I am also an accredited financial counselor through the AFCPE. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in banking and finance from North Carolina A&T State University with over 2 decades of experience in financial services, institutional trust, and wealth management. Most importantly, I have assisted over 130 families with crafting their own profitable and customized portfolios. And I do this all day. So if you need any assistance with that, please let me know. I will put my contact information at the end. So today in today's tutorial, we will be discussing M1 Finance. I did a prior video explaining exactly how to set up your account with M1 Finance and how to get started. So I'll do a brief review of that, but today we're really going to be focusing on how to set up an additional stockpile and really how to organize your M1 Finance account and also how to purchase fractional shares. Okay. So when you get started, they're going to walk you through creating a pie. Now, this pie is just going to be walking you through the process. It's not necessarily going to be the pie that you are going to be investing in long term. As soon as you log in to create your M1 account, that's the first step that they allow you to do is create a pie. Okay. And so when that pie is created, you have to understand that basically the pie is to organize your M1 portfolio. So when they say pie, they are meaning this kind of circular icon right here. And a part of the pie is made up of stocks and ETFs. So you can choose what makes up or goes into your pie. You can choose individual stocks or you can choose ETFs. So today we are going to be discussing how to actually organize your pies if you want more than one basic pie. Okay. Now, whenever you create your first pie, you just select three investments and they go ahead and create your first pie just so that you can say, hey, I have created my first pie. I have these three investments there. But say if you do not necessarily want to keep these companies that you've selected for your first pie during the setup process. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do in order to customize your own pie if you say you don't want to go with what you have initially put in there during the setup process. Okay. So whenever you set up your account initially and you make your selections for your portfolio or for your stock pies, they will automatically go ahead and give each of these shares equal weighting. So if you have 7 shares, for example, they will allocate 14 to 15% to each of those stocks. Excuse me, if you have 7 stocks, they'll go ahead and equally weight those slices of your pie. As long as it equals 100%, then you are good to go. But please keep in mind that whenever you set up your account initially, they are automatically going to allocate equally amongst those stocks, but you can change that if you like. So you can just change, for example, if you want more allocated to Apple than the others, then you can change that to whatever percentage you want there, as long as the total equals to 100%. Okay. Now, whenever you create your stock pies, they are not automatically added to your portfolio. They are just sitting there and you can create as many stock pies as you want to, but until they're actually added to your portfolio, any money or any contributions that you make towards M1 Finance will not be allocated towards your stock pie. So you have to add that to your portfolio before you are able to allocate any money towards these stocks. So that's very important as you're creating these stock pies. You can do so at your leisure. Anytime you get ready, you can create a stock pie, but in order for them to actually receive funding, you have to add them to your portfolio, which is a separate step. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. Okay, so after you go ahead and set up your account, you can go to your main page and you can view the details of your pie that you have created during the setup process. Now, this is how it looks here. It has the circular icon here, and it basically represents all of the slices of your pie. Those slices are made up of the individual stocks that you've chosen for your first pie, and you can see that there. Now, if you do not want to keep that pie that you set up during the initial setup, all you have to do is go to research, click on my pies, and you'll see your unused your unused pies listed here. As I said before, they're unused until they are added to your portfolio. So since they're not, all you have to do is click on these three buttons here, and you can delete that entire first pie and start completely over. And that's exactly what I'll be walking you through, exactly how to create a new pie that you actually want to invest in. So we are going to delete the pie that we created during sign up, and we're going to set up two new pies. Okay. Now under unused, you don't have anything, and you have this button that says create new pie. And that's exactly what we're going to click on so that we can start the process of creating our new pie. Now, whenever you click on that create new pie, it's going to bring you to this screen. Here you can actually filter by market capitalization, PE ratio, dividend yield, however you want to sort out over 6,000 stocks that they offer, or 4,000 stocks, and then you have ETFs as well as they offer. So you can choose to look at stocks based on their market cap or any of these things here, or you can look at funds, or if you've had other pies that you want to add, you can do that. And they also have a collection of quote unquote expert pies that you can choose to add to your own pie as well. These pies are created by people who have their certification in financial analysis. So you can definitely look into those pies if you'd like. But for today, we are going to select our own companies. And for that, you would just go over here to this search bar, and you would search by the symbol or the company name, and you can add those stocks individually yourself. So that's what we will be doing today. So I am going to create two portfolios or two stock pies. One is going to be a dividend paying portfolio, and the other will be a growth based portfolio. So in my dividend paying portfolio, I'm just going to select 5 companies, and I'm going to select a separate 5 companies for my growth based stock pie. So I'm just going to do some random dividend aristocrats in this first one, and this is not investment advice at all. These are literally random dividend aristocrats that I am choosing. Now, if you're not familiar with dividend aristocrats, what that is companies that have been paying and raising their dividends consistently for the last 25 years. So I'm just going to create a portfolio that holds those companies, and then I'll create a separate portfolio and show, or stock pie, and show you how to do that as well. So we're going to select GD, which is the ticker symbol for General Dynamics. Whenever we select that up here, this will pop up and it's going to say add to your basket. So as I said before, we are creating stock pies. So the way that I like to think about this is we are adding ingredients for our pie. So when it says add to basket, this stock is going to be one of those ingredients in our dividend based stock pie. So I'm going to add that to the basket there. And now we're going to have General Dynamics is one of the stocks in our stock pie, one of the slices in our stock pie. And as you can see, whenever we add it to the basket, it appears down here at the bottom, and you just want to select add. So you can go ahead and add that to your stock pie. And now GD becomes a slice of our pie. I'm going to add Lowe's is another dividend company. And whenever you type in the ticker symbol for Lowe's, same thing is going to happen. You'll see the information for Lowe's there. You're going to click add to basket, and it's going to appear down here. You want to add it, and it also becomes a slice of your pie now for your dividend stock pie. I'm going to add some Caterpillar by typing CAT, which is the ticker symbol for Caterpillar up there. The information is going to appear here, add it to the basket, and I'm going to do the same thing with Exxon, AT&T, and then we're going to have our 5 stocks selected down here, add it to our basket. I'm just going to click add, and once it adds, it's going to automatically create your new pie. So as you see, it gives it a name. It's called new pie, and it has the date that you created that pie. Is very generic, and it also goes ahead and gives the performance of this pie if you would have invested exactly like this 5 years ago. So if you would have chosen these 5 stocks and invested 5 years ago, then your return would have been 71.07% over the last 5 years, the return since 2016. So that's just giving you a little information there. But along with this new pie, you also see this edit button. So whenever you click on that, you can edit it and go ahead and change the percentages. As I stated before, M1 Finance will automatically equally weight each of the stocks that you choose for your pie. Right now, we have 5 stocks that make up the slices of our stock pie. And so 20% has been allocated to each of those stocks. So if you don't want that, you can change that to whatever you like, as long as it adds up to 100%. You can also rename this pie. I always rename my pies just so I know exactly what they are about. And you can also put a pie description down here at the bottom as well. And so I have chosen, instead of 20% to everything, I'm doing 10% to AT&T, 20% to Caterpillar, 10% to Exxon, 10% to General Dynamics, and 50% to Lowe's. As long as it equals up to 100%, you will get this save button up here, and you'll be able to click on that and save it. Before you do, you might want to rename your pie. As I stated before, this one is going to be specifically for dividend paying stocks. So I'll put that description there, all dividend paying stocks. And I'm also renamed the pie to Dividend Aristocrats Portfolio. Going to click that save button. And now we have our Dividend Aristocrats portfolio that shows here. And each of these slices are showing as they should. They represent the pieces or the slices of the pie. As I said before, I'm going to go back and show you how 50% was allocated to Lowe's. And whenever you look at this portion right here represents Lowe's here. And then the other parts represent each of those other stocks that were in the portfolio. Okay. And so now, whenever you go back to the page and click on My Pies, you now have Dividend Aristocrats portfolio that we just created. And I'm going to create another portfolio to show you how to create a second portfolio. I'm sorry, a second stock pie to add to your portfolio. So I want to create a new pie. Now, in this new pie, I only want growth companies and companies that don't necessarily pay a dividend at all. So I'm going to go with the FANG stocks, the Facebook, the Amazon, the Apple, the Netflix, as well as the Google. So those 5 stocks are going to be what makes up my growth portfolio or my growth stock pie. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in the ticker symbol up here for Google. And it's going to appear here as far as the information for Google. And I can add that to my basket. It will appear down here. And then I can just click add. So I'll go through and do this for each of the companies that I want to be a part of my growth stock pie. I'm just going to go up here, add in the ticker symbol, click add to basket, and they're going to all appear down here just like this. And I'm going to click add, and they're going to be added to now my growth stock pie. So you see that this is named generically again, new pie and the date, but now it has 5 equally weighted companies that make up my growth stock pie. As you can see down here, it has 5 slices, which represents those 5 holdings in Facebook, Amazon, and Netflix, as well as Google and Apple. So it has all of my 5 companies listed there, as well as the growth. As you can see, this is a lot more than it was with my dividend-based portfolio. So that's another reason that I really wanted to make sure that I had both dividends for the income as well as a growth portfolio. So I'm just going to go back a couple of slides because I want to see myself what would be the difference here. So over the last 5 years, if I was invested in my Dividend Aristocrats portfolio, even though I get dividend income, the returns are still pretty good, 126.30%. But in my FANG stocks, which make up my growth stock pie, the returns would be almost 400%. So I just wanted to compare that over the last 5 years to see what it would be like. So back on target. Now we have our growth stock pie created, and we'll be able to click on edit here. And as I said before, the system is automatically going to allocate these equally, and you can just go back in and change these percentages to whatever you like for as far as whenever you make your deposits into your account. How do you want these funds allocated to each of these stocks within the stock pie? Okay, so you can make that change there. You can also change this pie name, which we are about to do as well, and add a pie description. All right, so see, I've changed the percentages here, 15% to Google, 15% to Amazon, 30 to Apple, 25 to Facebook, and now 15 to Netflix. The total is still 100%, so it's good to go there. I've also renamed this pie growth portfolio, and I added the pie description of FANG stock, so I'll know exactly what is contained inside of this growth stock pie. Everything is the way that I want it to be now. So I'm just going to click that save button at the top right. And now we see that the stock pie has been renamed growth portfolios. And we see that everything is equally distributed like we want, or we've already, it's like we chose for the allocation to be. It says FANG stocks for my description. We see it holds 5 of those slices, 5 of those companies, and we're good to go with our growth portfolio. Now, when you go back to the main page for M1 Finance, you're able to click on View Pies, and then you have both of your pies showing in the unused section because, again, we have not added them to our portfolio yet. So we have our growth portfolio, which has our FANG stocks, and we have our Dividend Aristocrats portfolio, which has all dividend paying stocks. Now, in order to add them to your portfolio, all you need to do is click on the buttons or click on the check marks right beside each of the stock pies that you want to add to your portfolio, and they will appear down here at the bottom. And all you need to do is click add. Once you click add, of course, it's going to allocate 50% to each because that's what the system does, just equally weights them. And so this means if you have a deposit of $1,000 in cash to hit this account, then M1 Finance will automatically, if you have the option selected, it will automatically allocate 500 to the Dividend Aristocrats stock pie and 500 to the growth stock pie for you on your behalf if you leave it like that. Okay. So now at this point, we can rename our portfolio and we can provide a description for it as well. And we can go ahead and change this if we want to as well. Now, one thing that I want to call to your attention here is that even though the total has to be 100%, and I say that you can allocate it the way that you want, if you try to save this and you have 0% for one of the portfolios or one of the stock pies and 100% to the other, that will not work. You'll see the message up here that says slice is at 0%. It cannot be 0%. Even if you have to do 1% and 99%, that's fine. It'll still add up to 100%, but you can't have one stock pie that is at 0%. So keep that in mind if you're wondering why you cannot save a portfolio. It's likely because you have not allocated anything to one of these. Okay. So as a part of this edit screen, I'm also going to change the name of my portfolio. I love to think of what I'm doing as creating a legacy for my children. So I changed the name of my portfolio to Legacy Portfolio. It has a ring to it. I like it. So I'm going to keep it like that. And I also changed the description to Dividend and Growth Stock Portfolio so that whenever I'm looking at the portfolio in total, I'll know exactly what makes up this specific portfolio. Okay, so I'm going to change it to 85 and 15. Of course, that equals 100%. The save button populates, and I could save it like that, but I'm going to just go ahead and go with 50-50. As you can see, this circle represents 50% of the dividend stock pie, and the other 50% is the growth stock pie. So I'm going to leave it like that in my legacy portfolio to have both of these stock pies as a part of this one portfolio. And now we have our legacy portfolio and we have our individual stock pies, which make up our total portfolio. So whenever I make any type of cash deposit, now 50% will go to my Dividend Aristocrats portfolio and the other 50% will go to my growth portfolio. I'll call them portfolios, that's what they are, but M1 Finance calls them stock pies. So anytime you make a contribution to M1 Finance, it will allocate them to your slices accordingly. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to explain some things on this page first, but I want you to just keep in mind that there are different stocks in each of these different stock pies that will receive the allocation from your contribution. So I will explain that in just a moment. Now, do keep in mind, I did not make any deposits yet, so it's showing a $0 cash balance. But also over here, you can definitely buy into just one portion of your portfolio. So now, if you just want to buy into the entire portfolio and it just divided 50-50 between the two, that's totally fine. If you make the $1,000 contribution, of course, 500 would go to this one, 500 would go to the growth one. That's fine. But you can also click on the individual stock pies and only make a contribution towards your dividend stock pie if that's what you choose to do. So we're going to go through that as well. And also, before I leave this screen, I want to point out that M1 only has available the morning 9:30 a.m. trades for those who do not have M1 Plus. So for in that case, any trades that you put in before 9:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time will be processed that day. Any trades that you put in after 9:30 a.m. will be processed the next day typically. So that is an important thing to note. If you want to have another option to buy into your portfolio that same day with the afternoon, you would have to upgrade to M1 Plus. So that's very important there. M1 Finance is definitely not for day traders or anyone who wants to be quickly in and out of stocks. This is more so for long-term or medium-term investing. Okay. Now, right back to it, you can click on, say, for example, you only want to put money into your Dividend Aristocrat stock pie instead of splitting them between the stock and the dividend and the growth stock pie. So let's take a look at that. You can just click on Dividend Aristocrats. So the way that it's listed here, just click right there under slices, and now you will see those individual slices that make up your Dividend Aristocrats portfolio. So as you can see, we have Lowe's, Caterpillar, AT&T, Exxon, and General Dynamics that make up our Dividend Aristocrat stock pie. And you can just buy into this specific stock pie. So say, for example, you only have $400 to invest. You want all of it to go to this dividend stock pie. Just basically click on buy here, this buy sell button, and then you'll be able to buy into this stock pie, and it will be allocated only to these 5 stocks the way that you designated here. Okay, you can do the same thing with the growth portfolio. You can put, $300 towards your growth portfolio only. So, and all you would need to do is click that buy sell button there, and it will be allocated towards these 5 companies in your growth stock pie the way that you designated here. Okay. Now, say for example, you want to only purchase fractional shares. This is a beautiful thing about M1 Finance. It does allow you to purchase fractional shares. So, as long as the amount that you are trying to purchase is $25 or more, they will allow you to do that. So, say you don't want to purchase the entire, all of the slices or all of the stocks inside of this growth portfolio. You only want to purchase Facebook. So if you only want to purchase Facebook, all you would need to do is click on Facebook down here under slices. And once you click on Facebook, instead of it saying growth portfolio up here, it's going to change it to Facebook. And now you can go ahead and click on the buy sell button here, and you can purchase some shares of Facebook, or you can actually purchase fractional shares, which means partial shares of Facebook. So the total price right now today, if Facebook is $274.48. Okay. If you do not have $274.48, but you still want to purchase a fractional share or a piece of Facebook stock, you can do so for sure. Now, keep in mind, like I said before, I don't have a cash balance, so I'm just going to walk you through the steps of what that would look like. So all you would need to do is click on the buy sell button here, and it will pop up with this buy sell Facebook or whatever the stock is you want to buy shares in, that button there, and you can click buy, or if you want to sell, you can do that. But right now we're talking about if we want to buy a piece of Facebook. And let me go back here. You can put in $25, $30, $100, or you can buy an entire share of Facebook, and you can just go ahead and put in your buy order for Facebook right there. So you just type in $25, for example. Right now it says $0 because I don't have any money in here I haven't deposited any yet. So, you can put in however much you want. Now, this is what will show if you go ahead and try to buy shares before you have deposited any money. It will simply give you this information exceeds available cash, and it'll show you that you don't have any money available right now. And so I'm going to walk you through quickly how to add money to your account. Okay. So we've gone over how to create our stock pies and how to get rid of that new stock pie that we created during setup and replace it with a pie that is going to be more suitable for our needs, and also how to create a second stock pie as well. We've gone over how to buy into the total portfolio, one stock pie or the other, and we've also gone over fractional share investing. So now we're just going to tie it up with how to actually put money into your M1 account. You can do this during the setup process, but if you have not, then you can go back to the main page for M1 Finance and click on transfers up here. Then you want to click on move money. And after you click on move money, you'll be brought to this screen. What would you like to do? And you can simply enter in one-time transfer. You can put in $1,000, $100, whatever you want to put in there. You can just choose that to do that one time. My favorite option is to set up recurring transfers, so I don't even have to think about investing and into my portfolio and manually doing this. I have it set up so that they can automatically go into my checking account, place the funds into my M1 brokerage account, and then go ahead and allocate the funds towards my stock pies as I have designated to my growth and my dividend portfolios, as you saw in the setup process. And that is it. After you have this set up, it is super easy. It's really hands off. You've already set it up and told M1 Finance exactly how you want your funds allocated. And once you set up recurring transfers, it does the work for you. All you need to do is just check in and make sure everything is going the way that you want it to go. So that is all for today. I really hope that this has been helpful to you. Great success to you in your investment journey. If I can assist, please let me know. My information will be posted somewhere along this video. Thank you and have a great one.